Hello, what's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emmanuel. In today's video we're going to be creating a text-based adventure game with Python. So to run it, we're going to do Python main.py. Pardon my typing. Okay, so I know what is here already. So person gets home from a long night party and then finds the letter in his mailbox. Should you open it or go inside? So we're going to open it, go inside first. If I go inside, when he's way inside, he sleeps and then hits his head on a rock and dies. But let me run the game again. Now if I choose to open, now he finds 8 words in there. Of course I know what this is all about already. So he meets me on the beach side at 11 p.m. That's what is inside the letter. Now let's go to the beach. If he goes inside, he's gonna basically die again. I wrote it so I know what's gonna happen. We're gonna go to beach. Now what this text-based adventure game is, it's kind of a choose your own adventure game. So you choose your own adventure story. Whatever you choose is going to define your story. Okay, so now it gets there and there's nobody there. Now it's beginning to wonder if it's a prank or maybe the person forgot. Now then here's the rumble of an engine. As looks, the engine is coming, the bike is coming towards him at a very high speed. Now should you run or stay? Of course, since he's waiting for the person, let's stay. Okay, as the bike got to you, yeah, we should change this. It's supposed to be like kind of the moment stuff. So as the bike gets to you, it drifts to the side with a sharp stop. Alas, it is a lady. Then she pulls a shotgun towards you and she said, "Where's the money?" But you are confused. Running to an old building by your right. At the back door of the building is a river and a short path to your right. So if I should dive, it's gonna die for some reasons. You will get to that later. So, but let's pass the right. We want to finish this. Now you approach a fence and jump the fence. On looking up, you see a police station. You run into it. 45 minutes later, the police sergeant returns. He tells you that you were debating a drug bust, but you are safe now and you handle the situation, you survive. The end. That's what it's all about. The person playing the game might die or survive. That one of those two. Now let me show you what I really wanted the game to look like. I didn't really want it to be something like this. Then let me show you. This is what I wanted the game to look like. Now as you can see, that's what I wanted it to look like. So it's print this way, but due to Sublime you can't pass input to Sublime from here, and that's the problem. But your command prompt, you can pass input to it, but it won't print it this way. So I had to change to command prompt and just do it the way it is, just print it normally. But this way it looks nice this way, but you just can't pass input to Sublime. Okay, so this is what I wanted it to look like before, but we got no choice. Now back to the game. So we're gonna go. Okay, we finished that, and that's how the game works basically. Now let's get into creating our own. But before we get into it, let me define a function here. Before we get into it, we're gonna create a function called start. This is where we're gonna do start the game. This function we're gonna call to start the game. To play the game, I'm gonna explain the whole story to you. It's basically a guy that comes now back from a party and notices the letter in his mailbox. Now he decides to either go inside to read the letter or read the letter out here. Now if he goes inside, he's gonna sleep and die. Then they won't find his body. But if he should open the letter immediately, he's gonna find it there that the reader wants him to meet him or at the beach side by 11 p.m. If he decides to go inside or to go to the beach straight up, if he goes inside, he's gonna die. But if he goes to the beach, he's gonna arrive there without meeting nobody. And maybe some seconds or minutes later, someone is gonna come with a bike, and then the person is gonna be coming out a full speed towards him without brakes. So when the person gets, the person just gonna drift and stop. But before the person drifts and stops, he has an option to either run or stay before the person gets to him. Now if he stays, the person is going to get to him and it's going to be a lady. She's going to pull out the shotgun and threatens him if he doesn't give her the money, which he's going to be confused about because he knows about no money. But if he runs, he's going to run to the left in an alleyway, and then he's going to get to a part where he's going to either have the option to dive into a river or just pass the right short path. It's going to be a path by the right, so you can either pass that or dive. And the same thing applies if he waits for the lady. He's going to run to the right into a building, and then he's going to get to the back of the building. He has an option to either jump to the river or pass the short path. So if he passes the short path in any of those conditions or situations, he's going to arrive to a police station and he's going to survive. But if he dives, he's going to dive straight into the mouth of the crocodile. So you understand how the whole story works? Without wasting time with the boring stuff, so let's just get into creating the video. But before you take a step into the video, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next content. And let's get into the video. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to define a function called intro. It's gonna have the whole intro text about what happens at first. Then this intro text is gonna contain him coming back, and then we're gonna tell him to enter something. Either he wants to open the letter. You know, when he gets home at first, he's gonna see it, and he has an option to go inside and open the letter. So all of that is gonna be in the intro. So we're gonna get our input from here. Now let's define the intro up here. So we're gonna do define intro. Now I'm gonna copy the intro text real quick. We don't want to waste time on that. Okay, so this is intro text. After a long night party, the whole story. Now it's gonna have the option to do this. So when we call this function, it prints the whole of this. Now I want to get the user's choice from this. Okay, so let's just do go. Just change this to go inside. Now we're gonna do create a variable called next step equals to input. Now I'm gonna say if next step, we can do equals to, and we can also do in. So I'm gonna choose in. So if next step in open letter, so even if the user types open, it's gonna be in here. Okay, but it doesn't matter anyway as far as we have open in here. So we're gonna open the letter. We're gonna define this function later. Elif next step in go inside. We're gonna go inside, else we don't have an option for that, so we're gonna call that wrong input. Game over. Okay, now once we have this, we have to define another function. So if I run this, we're gonna open this in continue folder. So if you're on Mac or Linux, you want to open this in your terminal, just right click on an empty space, expand and right click on an empty space. You should see something like open the terminal in this menu. But if you're on Windows like I am, just come up here and type cmd with enter. It should open this for you. So this is the exact directory you are in. Okay, this should be the directory you are in. It might not be the same thing in mine, of course, you know that. So to run the file, I'm gonna do Python name of the file. So we're gonna do txt on adv game text adventure game.py. And when we run it, nothing happens. So of course we have to call our function down here. So we're gonna call the function, and then we're gonna run it. So we get this. If I type open, it should give me an error because we don't have this function. Now let's define the function up here. So we're gonna define open letter, and I'm gonna grab the text for open letter real quick. Now you're beginning to wonder, well, will I keep typing this text all by myself? So the idea behind this is you can just watch it all the way through. You don't have to follow up. You just understand how the game works, and then you can just create your own story, which is the best thing you can do. So you don't have to follow up, and then don't really understand it. But if just listening to it and watching it all through, it's gonna help you. If you wanna follow along, feel free to do that. So I'm gonna press that here, and now it says you are too curious to check your mail. Grab it and find it. Where it meets me on the beach. So press go inside to go inside your house, or go to the beach to go to the beach side. So now instead of doing this here again and just making it all complex, so we're just gonna ask for the user input down here. So we're just gonna say next step. We're gonna call it next step too. So the variables will collide and different functions. Remember variable scoping? You can watch my video on that in my Python beginners series. So we're gonna say input. So if next step in go inside, so we're gonna go inside. So now we have to go inside here, which are going to be the same thing, this and this. Now I hope you are beginning to understand this. So when you see the letter, you either choose to go inside or open it, and now when you open it, now you either choose to go to the location or open it now. So if you go inside, that's that. But if next step in, I mean, if you go inside, your player is gonna die. So next step is if next step in go to beach rather. Pardon me for that. Okay, so I leave next step and go to beach. Now I want to go to beach, guys. Else, of course, wrong input again. So I'm just gonna copy this. I don't want to type. Or you can also customize it. You should watch your spellings. I don't want to be rude, but let's just put something there different. Okay. So we're gonna. That's okay. Now we have to define our go inside since we are using it twice already. So let's define go inside. I'm gonna grab the text pretty quick. Okay, so we have that go inside. The user is just gonna down go inside. Now let's define go to beach up here, just above this. Define go to beach. Now I'm gonna grab the text for go to beach. If you notice, there's something different about this go to beach. There's like a sleep here. What it does is when it gets to this point, it stops the code for 5 seconds. So just for creating like, so you don't get overwhelmed with the long text. So you can just make a break here, maybe after for 3 seconds after every print statement, so you don't get too much text at once. So you can do time to sleep. I mean, if you were to do it the way I was supposed to do it at first, where it would have been more easier. But since we have to do it this way, you can just put a sleep here. But we can reduce this to 3 seconds. 3 seconds. You can put this here. Time the sleep and 3. Now it isn't going to work until you install it. Import it rather. It's built in, so you don't need to install it. So we're going to do import time. Save that. Now let's run the code and see what we've got so far. So if I run it now, let's go to beach. Oh, sorry. Let's go to beach. Open the letter. Then go to beach. Wait, if I just go here, remember we are using in. So something is wrong. Let's come back here. After we open the letter, and we are saying you have go here. So if I use go, it's gonna choose this one as the first one. So you want to type go to beach. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna open that. So you can use your arrow up and arrow down to navigate like this. So we're gonna do go to beach. See, when you get to beach, 11 p.m. All you see is an empty atmosphere. There is nobody here. You're beginning to wonder, is this a prank or? And now you see you have it slowly coming. So what you can do is, it depends on how fast you read. You can make it a little bit shorter, longer rather. You can make the time a little bit longer. Depends on how fast you read. Okay. Now we have that there. We're gonna do our input statement here. So our next step is gonna be input. So if, let's do it here. If next step in stay, we're gonna stay. Okay, stay your ground. Stay, or just let's call it stand your ground. By the way, stay your ground. Stand your ground rather. Oh my, I might have made a lot of mistake here. Stand your ground. So when we get to mistakes, you can always change that. Oh my goodness. Stand your ground. Okay, Elif. What's the next thing here? Okay, run. Next step in run away. I'm gonna run away. Basically, we're gonna run away. Else, no, we're gonna print. Ooh, wrong input. Play again. So that works well there. We're gonna save that. Now we have to define stand your ground and run away. So let's stand your ground up here. And mind you, it might not be this fast when you're writing it on your own, because you're gonna be writing a lot of text, which is a lot, and that's gonna take time. So you might not be writing this fast, but I'm doing it fast because I've written it so it can be faster. Okay, so we're gonna call this function stand your ground. Then we're gonna call this function run away. So for stand your ground, I'm gonna grab the text real quick. Okay, so we have this. Now let's change this to time the sleep 3. Let's put 3 time the sleep 3 time the sleep. I'm sorry if I'm not reading this to you, but I've explained the whole story to you now, and that's what we're doing basically. Okay, so now we are stopping at every after every 2 print statement, we are stopping for 3 seconds. That's what we're doing basically. So you should run into the building like that, just to, so they can read it without having to think about reading a lot of text. So after this, we're gonna do next step equals to input. Then we're gonna say if next step in dive, then we're gonna do dive. Elif next step in right. So the thing about this is, if they should give us a D, it's gonna be the same as dive since we are using in. And if they should give us an R, it's gonna say same thing as this. So what we can do is equals to D and equals to right to make it better. Okay, so they don't have to worry about typing long text. which is something you should also consider in your program. You don't want the user to be bogged down by having to type long text all the time. But you can change all of this to short words, letters, just a letter. You can change all of that to a letter. It's fine. But I'm gonna leave it the way it was for consistency, okay? But you can do it the other way, as that is better. So we're gonna do right. So let's call it run right. Okay, so we have that. Now let's define our dive and run right up here. Now you see what I'm doing? Dive. Oh, right. I don't know if you want me to always talk about my shortcuts while I'm typing, or you want me to create a video on shortcuts. Make sure you comment down in the comment section down below. I'll make sure I respond to that. And if I see any interest in that, I'm gonna make sure I do a short video on that. Okay, so we're gonna do dive and run right. Okay, let's pause that. So I'm gonna grab the text for dive real quick. But wait. I think there's something wrong here. We haven't done the one for run away. So we have to do the one for run away. So we have to do the one for run away right now. First, before we go down this part, okay? So I'm gonna grab text for run away instead. Okay. So now, as you can see, run into dark alley by the left. At the end of the alley, there's a river to your short path, blah blah blah. And this, okay. Okay, so there are similar stories. We can copy this and paste this here. If looking at this, let me talk about this. When you stand your ground, person pulls the shotgun, and then you run through the building. When you run through the building, you're gonna get to this same short path where you get to here, where you either dive or you run through to your right. Okay, so it's the same thing here basically. Let's do time to sleep. It's the same thing. So we're gonna paste this here. Okay, so when you get to the end of the alleyway, they either dive or move to their right. There's a river and a short path to your right. Okay, so it's the same thing. Now all we have to do is just define these functions. Okay, so for that I'm gonna grab the text real quick. We might as well want to change this to, okay, so we have dive. Let's leave for now. You can change that to dive into a river or dive into river. But I'm just gonna paste the text. Oh, you dive right into the mouth of a crocodile. The end. So what you can do here also is, when you're calling your dive, so you don't have the same story for crocodiles all the time, you can pass in animal here and then use an F string in here. So when you use an F string, let's say you take in a text called animal, and then you just pass animal in here. So it's gonna be automatically generated from whenever you call your dive. So you can have different things in here. So you can pass in crocodile, you can pass in, of course you can't have a shark in a river. What was I thinking? No way. So you can just put any other animal there, or maybe just put something like, if animal equals to crocodile, then you're gonna, you can make this a little bit more advanced. If animal equals to crocodile, you jump right into the mouth of a crocodile. If animal equals to electric fish, print you were electrocuted and you died. You can just use different things around here, but I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stick to what I have here. I'm gonna clear that. Okay, so I'm gonna use this outro, but now I'm telling you this so you can go back and practice it yourself and not just watch, so you become better at this. And then if you have any difficulties, you can always comment down below, and I'm gonna make sure I answer all your questions. So we have dive. Now let me grab the text for run right. Ooh, so we have that. Let me do time to sleep 3, time to sleep, let's put 3 there. Okay, we don't need much time to sleep over here, so we're just gonna use 2, and that should do the whole game. Now you see, it's not that complex. You just have to follow each step all the way from the start. You have your intro, the very first one. You print to the whole intro part, and then if you choose to open letter, or go inside, the person dies. When the person opens the letter, you either choose to go inside or go to the bit directly. Or if you go inside, the person still dies. And now if you open the letter, okay, I'm sorry about that. Now if you go to the beach, you get this encounter. You either choose to run away or stay your ground. If you run away, this happens, and if you stay your ground, you eventually still run away. Classy, right? And then when you run, you either choose to dive or you run right. So if you dive, ooh, that's death. But if you run right, then you pass the right path, and then the game ends. That's how it is. You can add your own customization, as I've explained all through. So now we're gonna run the game now. This time around from the top. So we know we want to survive this time around. Open letter this time around. Open. We're gonna go to beach. all this is an empty atmosphere. There's nobody there. And I begin to wonder, is it a prank or the person forgets? Then you remember the heard the sound of, oh, you heard the rumble of an engine. You see, you have to add more time there. As you looked at your side, you saw a bike moving towards you, coming at a nice speed. You stand up. Okay, you want to run. So if you run to a dark alley by your left, at the end of the alleyway, there's a river and a short path to your right. So we don't want to dive. I know what's gonna happen. So if I go to my right, see a police station and you run into it, okay, and then 45 minutes later, the police returns. It tells you that you were debating a drug bust where you're safe now. You handle the situation. You survived the end. You understand? I hope you understand the whole game stuff. And if you don't understand, make sure you comment down in the description below. Make me know what you feel about this, and make sure you click this subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video. And hit the like button as well. And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Peace out, guys.